ready. The next 2 or 3 minutes, the final preparations, we will be starting officially. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the fourth John Ssebaana Kizito Memorial Lecture scheduled to start today. My name is Solomon Rubondo, the chairman of the Insurance Broker Association of Uganda and the Central Organizing Committee chairperson for this lecture. Those who are watching virtually, get yourself in the most comfortable place, whether in your lounge, in your office. If you're driving, just find a very nice shed, park by, so that you don't miss the proceedings in the next 2 hours. We will start our program, this being a memorial lecture. All of us will rise. May I request those at the command center and those who are watching virtually, rise so that we do acknowledge the grace of God who has kept us alive up to this day, since we parted last year or even this morning. Many have left us, but more importantly, to reflect on the good works of the late John Ssebaana Kizito, who we do remember in honor today. I do request that we share 1 minute, that you do surrender your supplications to your Almighty, and use the second half of the minute to reflect on the life of the late John Ssebaana Kizito, and seek God's guidance to prevail on our proceedings this morning. May the good Lord accept our prayers and grant the soul of the late John Ssebaana Kizito a peaceful rest. Take your seats. We are set to start our program. Our keynote speaker is here. The panel discussants are already here. And also, by way of protocol, we do recognize our guest of honor who will be opening this memorial lecture virtually. We also do recognize this Chief Executive Officer of a regulatory authority who will be giving his address virtually. And at the command center, we have the chairman of the board of the Insurance Training College of Uganda, Mr. Ronald Zake. We also have a minister as the chairman of the Uganda Insurance Association who will be officiating at the closing part of this program. We also have Mr. Joseph Chiwanuka, the partner with whom the late John Ssebaana Kizito founded the great empire. We call it the state empire, and we put it in quotation marks because you hear names like statewide, which is shortened for SWICO. You hear of interstate in the broking sector. We also have interstate finance, which I think now is undergoing transformation. And we also had trans-state reinsurance company. And you can see the determination of the late John Ssebaana Kizito to set all the pillars that are required for a very vibrant insurance industry. We do welcome you. We thank our service providers, and we do trust that the technical team will support us all through. Also the other support functions like Umeme and several other providers. Welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. And at this point, I would like to invite the principal of the Insurance Training College, Mr. Sol Seremba, to come and present his remarks as he prepares to receive the remarks of the Chief Executive Officer of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. Welcome, and I wish you fruitful deliberations.
Thank you, Mr. Solomon Ruvondo, our moderator for today. Our guest of honor, the permanent secretary and also secretary to the Treasury, our keynote speaker, the Chief Executive Officer of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, our dear panelists, the chairman and members of the board of the Insurance Training College of Uganda, the chairman of Uganda Insurers Association here with us, the chairman of the Insurance Brokers Association, who also happens to be the chairperson of the organizing committee, the chairpersons of all the industry bodies and associations, the CEOs of member companies, the management and board of our dear partners, SWICO, the family of the late John Ssebaana Kizito, our dear sponsors and partners, distinguished virtual attendees, the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me great honor to be addressing you this morning at this 4th Honorable John Ssebaana Kizito Memorial Lecture. As you are aware, this is the 4th time we are conducting this series of memorial lectures in honor of the late John Ssebaana Kizito. You may also recall that the college started this lecture series in 2018. That was a year after the passing of John Ssebaana Kizito. These lectures remind us of the great works of the late John Ssebaana Kizito, but also remind us of the enormous task ahead of us as we push the insurance agenda. We therefore use this platform to have a solid discourse to get solutions to the challenges we face, not only in the insurance sector, but the economy at large. Just like other sectors, we felt that as insurers, we had to celebrate our own hero who contributed a lot to the growth of insurance in Uganda, among other things that he did. He, along with others, and I will particularly point to Mr. Chiwanuka, started the first indigenous insurance firm. He was one of the persons who started the Insurance Institute of Uganda in 1964, and this is the institution that metamorphosed into the Insurance Training College that we see today. But he also served in different portfolios in the different institutions, all aimed at advancing the insurance agenda. He had a strong vision for insurance and professionalism. It is therefore befitting that as we drive the insurance growth agenda, we do so in honor of this great man. The theme of the lecture, Resilience of Business Enterprises and Households, a reflection on the insurance sector, challenges us to craft strategies to help business entities continue sustainably, of course, picking a leaf from the success stories that we have. And as I say, one of them being John Ssebaana Kizito. As a college, we continue to pledge our unrelenting commitment to further the professionalism agenda that was championed by the Ssebaanas of this world. We shall continue doing this through our maiden professional courses and such forums like this one to ensure that insurance knowledge is extended to all persons. I wish to extend our heartfelt appreciation to our guest of honor, our dear keynote speaker, Mr. Katongole, thank you so much. Our dear panelists, OHT Wawagwa, Nsibirwa, Mr. Protazio Sande, and Madam Irene Kego, thank you for being part of this 4th John Ssebaana Kizito Memorial Lecture. We also extend our appreciation to SWICO for being part of this program ever since it was started. The Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, Uganda Insurers Association, Insurance Brokers Association of Uganda, and other partners for the support they have extended to the college in organizing this function and all the previous functions. I wish to laud the organizing committee led by Mr. Solomon Rubondo for the assiduous efforts to ensure that this function takes place despite the tough times that we are going through. Our board, led by Mr. Zake, thank you for the guidance. Of course, the board is new, they are still Bagole, but they have guided us very well. I wish you the very best as we discuss resilience of institutions. And I hope the lessons picked from this will impact on our operations as insurers and business entities. I thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saul Seremba, for welcoming us to the college and the guidance you have provided. According to our program, we were coordinating the Chief Executive Officer of the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda to give his remarks. And once he comes through, yes, we will receive his remarks. We do welcome those who have joined us at the command center here, and we promise that we will be proceeding on time as scheduled. Just bear with us just a few minutes as we do coordinate, try to catch Alhaji Ibrahim Kadunabi Lubega, the regulator of the insurance industry. Thank you very much.
I hope you can hear me now. If I'm given the opportunity to be seen, I would also appreciate.
You're welcome, Alhaji Ibrahim Kadunabi Lubega. Let us work on this with the technical team here.
Okay. So I can go ahead and start my remarks.
Most obliged, Honorable Alhaji Kadunabi Lubega. You may proceed, sir.
Thank you very much. Our chief guest, the permanent secretary and secretary to the Treasury, here represented by Deputy PSST,
Alhaji, you can proceed, and for visual appearance, kindly turn on your video.
I have done so, but it is saying me you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Okay, we will correct that as you progress. Kindly oblige me.
Okay. Our chief guest, the permanent secretary and secretary to the treasury, Dr. Ramadan Gobi, here represented by the deputy permanent secretary and secretary to the treasury, Mr. Patrick Ochailap. Our keynote speaker, Mr. Emmanuel Katongole, who is well known to many, and the executive chairman of Cipla Quality Chemical Industries Uganda, among other responsibilities. The family, our panelists, especially Oweekitiibwa Robert Wagwa-Nsibirwa, the Deputy Katikkiro and Minister for Finance from the Buganda Kingdom, the family of the late John Ssebaana Kizito, most especially Mr. Joseph Mubiru Kizito, and other family members, board members of the Insurance Training College, the CEOs attending, business leaders, partners in the media, ladies and gentlemen. May I welcome you all on behalf of the Insurance Regulatory Authority to this fourth John Ssebaana Kizito Memorial Lecture, and I wish to extend my deep appreciation to all of you who have taken part to honor the late Honorable John Ssebaana Kizito. As you all know, Mr. John Ssebaana Kizito was a distinguished insurer, and indeed the ties and the facilities he extended to many places was needs recognition. I want to applaud the Insurance Training College for organizing this annual memorial lecture, where this time we are going to center on the resilience of business enterprises and households, a reflection of the insurance industry. And this is a salutation for the legacy the late John Ssebaana Kizito left behind. His resourcefulness was so great to the fact that it is still being remembered for his works. Himself, together with Mzee Joseph Chiwanka, established the statewide insurance company, popularly known as SICO, as the first private insurer in 1982. Ladies and gentlemen, we are indeed privileged to have the attendance of the permanent secretary to the treasury, Dr. Ramadan Gobi, who is effectively represented by the deputy secretary to the treasury, Mr. Patrick Ochailap. We welcome warmly Dr. Gobi as the permanent secretary and secretary to the treasury, to the insurance industry, and indeed to the entire financial sector generally. Open this conference, and the decision to have Mr. Emmanuel Katongole as the keynote speaker indeed was the best choice. You very well know Mr. Katongole. He is not only a seasoned entrepreneur, but he is a businessman who goes without further introduction. Indeed, as an industrialist, he needs and indeed knows the benefit and the place insurance plays in the business fraternity. Allow me to welcome also our panelists, beginning with the Oweekitiibwa Robert Wagwansibirwa, the Deputy Katikkiro of the Kingdom of Uganda. I welcome Madame Irene Kego Oloya, who is the Chief Executive Officer of Padre Insurance Brokers. And I welcome Mr. Sandy Protasio, who is the Director Planning, Market Research and Development at the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda. I want to observe that our economy is still challenged by the COVID-19 pandemic, and this calls for sustained resilience of our business enterprises and households. I'm also delighted that this memorial lecture gives us, the insurance players, an opportunity to engage in discussions that not only promote the industry, but also draws lessons on how we need to examine and re-engineer our business models based on concrete assumptions extracted from the market. Ladies and gentlemen, at the Insurance Regulatory Authority of Uganda, we are eager to register the outcomes from this keynote address and indeed the discussions that will ensue. May I also take this opportunity to remind you that we at the Insurance Regulatory Authority, we shall ensure that the insuring public and all interested parties in the insurance industry, their interests are safeguarded. And I request that all licensed players, and this includes brokers, insurers, HMOs, health membership organizations, and others, always abide by the set rules. Mr. PSST, may I also take this opportunity to remind you, sir, that a serious discussion on the taxation of the insurance services is important and should start to take shape. As we know, insurance safeguards all businesses for economic growth and sustainability. It is now my distinguished privilege to invite the Permanent Secretary to the Treasury, to address this meeting, conference, and officially open it. Mr. Ochaila, you can take the floor, sir.
Thank you very much, Alhaji Ibrahim Kadunabi Rubega. For those attending, following us on Zoom, yes, we are linking up with the permanent secretary, and anytime he should join.
Okay, fine. I'll give me a line now. Hello?
Most welcome,
Can you get me now?
Honorable P. Yes, please proceed and open your switch on your camera.
Okay,
The
fine. I'm
video.
trying to switch on, but not starting. Okay.
All ears to you, sir.
Can you put on the camera?
Yes, on our side it is on. You switch on your
The
video.
host, I think. Okay, let me proceed all the same.
Okay.
The Chief Executive Officer, Insurance Regulatory Authority, Alhaji Kadnabiri, the Chairman and members of the ITC Board, the Chairman, Uganda Executive Committee, UIA Executive Committee, the Chairman of IBAU and all chairpersons of industry bodies, associations, CEO of member companies, management and board of SWICO, the family of the late John Ssebaana Kizito, the keynote speaker, PDG Rotarian Emmanuel Katongole, who is my very good friend, equally, entrepreneur and a very resourceful Ugandan citizen, dear panelists, sponsors and partners, distinguished virtual attendees, media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I bring the apologies of the Permanent Secretary Treasury, Dr. Ramadan Gobi, who, although he had confirmed presiding over this opening ceremony, has been, as a result of his new assignment, requested to officiate at the commencement of budget consultation workshop, and therefore asked me to put on his very big shoes, which I hope I will be able to deliver to the satisfaction of the panel, as well as the invitations that came through. It gives me great pleasure to honor to be invited here as a chief guest at this memorial dislocation on the 4th John Ssebaana Kizito Memorial Lecture. I have learned that this fourth year, the college is successfully organizing this annual industry event in memory of the great contribution by a man that many regard as an icon in the insurance and business industry, among others. Given his many accolades and great contribution to the insurance industry, it is not accidental, therefore, that the college, together with partners, set aside resources for this grand event. I know that the objective of this platform is to provide a forum for dialogue between members of the college and other industry players and stakeholders for discussing issues pertinent to the growth and also the survival of the sector in general. The theme for this year's event is resilience of business enterprises and households. A reflection on the insurance industry therefore fits well with objectives of this theme. I am also delighted from a topical point of discussion and wealth of knowledge from the speakers. I have no doubt that the sector will lay strategies and resolutions that will foster the growth and continued appreciation of the insurance industry in general. I am also delighted to learn that from the previous 3 lectures, the college has contributed to the pool of knowledge and has also made resolutions that have yielded tangible benefits to the sector For example, about 9 of them, I'll summarize quickly. The need to invest in the research and market development to inform the direction and policy of the sector. 2, to increase the level of professionalism in the insurance sector. 3, to design policies that suit the low-income earners, the micro-insurance, and the wider uninsured persons. 4, the need to invest in insurance awareness and consumer education about insurance services. 5, to consider untapped insurable areas such as health insurance and micro insurance. 6, developing tailor-made solutions to the markets. 7, embracing new distribution approaches to insurance. 8, the need to consider multi-channel strategies. And finally, and by no means not the least, operational transformation, number 9. I therefore challenge you to fully implement all the above resolutions in order for the sector to grow and go beyond the levels that other sectors have attained, especially given the current challenges globally of the pandemic and also the survival of businesses in general. Reflecting on the insurance industry in general, I note that the insurance penetration is still below a paltry 1%. This therefore means that a lot still needs to be done to push this to a level of our regional markets in East Africa to begin with. With the able stewardship of the regulator, Al-Hajj, Kadunabiri, and cooperation amongst the various players, coupled by increased awareness and professionalism of players, I believe that the sector will achieve that target in the very near future. To the college, I want to thank you for organizing this event and thank you for the continued innovations, even amidst these seemingly tough times of the pandemic. The future of this sector greatly relies on a well-trained and competitive labor force. It's therefore imperative on the college to continue offering demand-driven courses that will shape the market and also capture and retain the market for its future survival, with or without the pandemics. I thank you for listening to me, and I wish, therefore, to declare this conference open and wish you fruitful deliberations. But I can't end without the challenge that Al-Hajj Kadunabiri mentioned, that taxation of insurance industry services needs safeguards. I think this is a timely moment because, as you all know, we are just commencing the budget preparation activities for next financial year. And this is the right time. And I challenge then the industry to put together clear proposals for discussions in the framework of tax proposals for next financial year in the context of the entire economy. I need to add that given the pandemic and of course the attendant lockdown measures that have been instituted to contain the pandemic, a number of tax revenue heads definitely have got the heat. And of course, it goes without saying that a number of small businesses and a number of even large businesses and all businesses activities have been variously affected in a negative way. And that goes to impact on the revenue overall. It's going to be a delicate balance, not going to be a simple affair, a delicate balance between the need to finance our budget, mitigate the adverse effects of excessive borrowing in order to deal with the widening fiscal deficit occasioned by the procurements for all necessities for COVID, as well as government-owned priority programs on one hand, but also challenged by the economic hardships by enterprises and business profitability, and therefore government revenue on the other. We shall walk the journey together, and I think with the new leadership in the ministry, we are open and willing to discuss with you on what is feasible, even if it means phasing the painful actions on the taxation side for the industry in the context of the economy overall. I thank you, and I wish to declare the workshop open for God and my country. Thank you.
Thank you very much, our chief guest, for blessing us and opening our conference. And the applause you had just a while ago was to acknowledge your counsel and words of wisdom at this moment. We will proceed into the business of the day, and we are preparing to focus and discuss resilience of enterprises and households, and focusing on insurance. When you use the word resilience, it actually means that there are highs and lows that enterprise is going through, and that those who have survived get that honor of having been resilient. And what makes that? It's only a person or an organization that has braved the storms, the high waters, and the low tides that can tell the story firmly and authoritatively. Now, when you are introducing Emmanuel Katongole, you must first seek indulgence, because you need a whole day to bring out the true Emmanuel Katongole. In fact, even the biggest challenge is which title to use. Doctor, Sir, PDG, Afande, and many others. But for today, I'm introducing a chief guest, and it is a moment I've always been looking forward to. And I thank the program organizers for having allowed me that much time. Emmanuel Katongole is a Ugandan entrepreneur who served as founder, managing director, and shareholder of Quality Chemicals Limited from 1997 to 2007. As chief executive officer of the company, he led a team of dedicated staff who transformed the company into a leading life sciences company in Africa, dealing in importation and distribution of animal health care products, environmental science products, and human pharmaceutical products. He is also the founder, CEO, and currently the executive chairman and shareholder of Cipla Quality Chemicals Industries Limited. It's important to note that this company manufactures HIV drugs and anti-malaria drugs, and is the first such World Health Organization good manufacturing practice plant in sub-Saharan Africa. Those who are following me would even applaud at that point. Emmanuel is further involved in the food and beverage production industry under Vero Food Industries, where he serves as founder, company, chairman, and shareholder. Vero is short for Veronica, who was his late mother. May her soul rest in eternal peace. Emmanuel is the chairman of the Uganda National Oil Company, which handles the state's commercial interests in the oil and gas sector, and is also the chairman of the advisory board of London-based TLG Capital, which, among other private equity engagements, runs a programmatic multi-million-dollar fund to support progressive African enterprises. He is currently the chairman of the National Response Fund to COVID-19. He's a member of the board of directors of the Presidential CEO Forum, board of directors of the Mauritius Union Assurance, MUA, Uganda, and was recently installed as the 5th Chancellor of Nkumba University in Uganda, and also conferred the title of Pope Knight by Pope Francis. Welcome, Dr. Emmanuel Katongole. Emmanuel is a Rotarian, and having grown from just being a member, he rose through the ranks and became district governor for District 9211, which comprises Tanzania and Uganda. It's from that we refer to him as PDG, past district governor. He was recently inducted into the Arch Clam Society of the Rotary Foundation. This means persons who have donated $250,000 to the foundation. He further serves as an endowment and major gifts advisor to the Rotary Foundation. Emmanuel Katongole won the Airtel Uganda Outstanding Humanitarian Award in the year 2017. Emmanuel was a finalist of the 2013 Ernst & Young World Entrepreneur of the Year Awards hosted in Monte Carlo, Monaco, and was thus inducted into the prestigious World Entrepreneur of the Year Hall of Fame. He was the winner of the African Business Leadership Award 2012, organized by the African Development Bank and hosted in Arusha, Tanzania. And he also won the 2012 African Entrepreneurship Award hosted by the Africa Leadership Network, based in South Africa and held in Accra, Ghana. In the year 2015-2016, he emerged as the East Africa regional winner in the chemical, pharmaceutical, and petrochemical sector of CEO Global's Titans Building Nations Award. CEO is an international organization that recognizes entrepreneurs in Africa for their significant role in the sustainable development of the economy. Emmanuel Katongole has in the past served as chair or member on boards of a number of schools, faith-based institutions, banks, and charity organizations in Uganda, including but not limited to being a member of the board of Uganda National Referral Hospital Mulago, 2010, 2015, we were there together that time. Chairman of Mutesa One Royal University Council, 2010-2015, board member of Uganda Manufacturer Association, vice chairman of Uganda Pharmaceutical Manufacturer Association from 2009-2015, and non-executive director of Barclays Bank Uganda, 2018-2020. He is well-founded. It's not just by luck that he got into this, because he's backed by a Master of Arts degree in economics, policy and planning, preceded by a Bachelor of Statistics degree, BStat Hons, both from Makerere University, Kampala, Uganda. He has had a number of business-related postgraduate training courses, both in Uganda and in Europe. And Emmanuel is married to Reste Katongole. They are blessed with 2 sons and 2 daughters. And I beg your indulgence that the other 4 pages, Mr. Katongole, I'll deliver them next time. Ladies and gentlemen, those at the command center and those attending virtually, I give you Emmanuel Katongole as our guest speaker this morning.
Moderator.
Good morning, friends. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I'll beg for your indulgence that I follow the protocol that has been observed by my very good friends, guest of honor, Rotarian Patrick Ochairap, and CEO Alhaji Kaduna Bilvega. But I all respect you in your various capacities. First of all, let me say I was the most unlikely person to be invited to speak on the 4th John Ssebaana Kizito Memorial Lecture on the topic resilience of businesses and enterprises and households, with the reflection on the insurance industry. But then, truth be told, the late John Ssebaana Kizito is a gentleman, respected. His man I considered to be my father. His man I considered to be my brother. His man I considered to be my mentor. I could therefore not lose any chance of coming to stand here for him. And I thank all the organizers who made this possible. Last night, I reflected my mind on the late John Ssebaana Kizito. And my mind very fast went to the year 1966, particularly May 1966, was very bad for our country, Uganda, was very bad for my family, a very humble family, because in that confusion of May 1966, my father, who worked as a porter on a building in Mengo area, was shot as he was going to work. I was only 4 years of age, and I've never seen him since that day. But that brought a lot of suffering to this country. The rest is history. But one thing that really reflected in my mind about the year 1966 was what was parallel going on in London. A movie at the same time, same month, was being shot, and it featured a man called Thomas More. And the movie was called A Man of All Seasons. A Man of All Seasons, featuring Thomas More, and Thomas More helped King Henry VII to resist the Catholic Church in the world. But a man of all seasons refers to one who remains true to himself and his beliefs, while at the same time adapting to new circumstances and new times, despite external pressure and influence. A man of all seasons is more committed to his consciousness. And my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Ssebaana Kizito was a man of all seasons, and he remains a man of all seasons. A man of all seasons, for a man who was born in a very humble village in what used to be called Bulemezi district, current Luwero district. I have been to Mpande village where he was born. He made himself, struggled himself from a very humble background, and was able to drive himself into a college of kings, King's College. He did not only go to King's College, but he excelled and was one of the first prominent Africans to be admitted to Makerere University College. That did not stop. He got a scholarship because of his brilliancy and was admitted at the University of Oregon. And I've had the opportunity through Rotary to visit the University of Oregon. And I can tell you it's one of the best pieces of scholarship you can get anywhere in the world. That was John Ssebaana Kizito, a man of all seasons, a man whose resilience is something that we should all be so proud of. When he came back, he did a lot of work. He was an entrepreneur, an economist, a politician, one of the first educated Ugandans into the East African Legislative Council. But he did not stop that. One can easily describe him, and rightly so, that John Ssebaana Kizito was a resilient man, was the founder of the industry, of the insurance industry in Uganda, was one of the founders of entrepreneurship, of African entrepreneurship, for which friends and parents like Mr. Joseph Chiwanuka, myself and others now stand in, and we feel so proud to stand in his footsteps. But when you talk about John Ssebaana Kizito, the many things he's done, a sportsman, founder of Nsambya Football Club. When we grew up, this was football club #1. Chairman of FUFA, And at that time, it wasn't FUFA that was there to make money, but was FUFA to win games. FUFA to win games. And he did it. He was chairman of the Bikabya Baganda football tournaments. He did that with utmost faith and utmost commitment. As I said, he was an entrepreneur who set up the first indigenous insurance company alongside his brother, his friend, who is seated here, another man that I've got maximum respect to, Mr. Joseph Chiwanuka. John Ssebaana Kizito was an educationist. He was past president of your institute and the founder chairman of the Uganda Insurance Association. He was a council member to a number of universities. He was one of the founders of Ndejje University. He was one of the founders, and I sat on the same committee with him, together with Alhaji Cardinal Biruvega, while His Majesty the Kabaka of Uganda was starting Mutesa One Royal University. He served that university, and when he was retiring as chairman of council, he passed on the baton to me. I did my 5 years, and I was retiring. I passed over the baton to your CEO, Alhaji Kaduna Biruvega. But he said that work, insurance work was too much, but he's still a committed member. That is the Ssebaana Kizito I'm talking about. That is the philanthropist I'm talking about. That is the family man, a family man who did not care that to be family, you had to be of a Mamba clan like him, that you had to be a Muganda like him. What mattered is that you are a human being, and so many children, irrespective of tribe, irrespective of religion, went through the hands of John Ssebaana Kizito. We stand here to honor him. But then when you're talking about John Ssebaana Kizito and resilience of businesses, ladies and gentlemen, there are a number of issues that you've got to consider. And for me, I believe that this country will win. I believe that despite the challenges of COVID, and I believe that despite the challenges of being a landlocked country, Uganda will win. And there are a number of reasons why I believe so. First of all, peace. I have traveled across Africa. I do business in 22 African countries, and I have seen what is in other countries. But let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we're a relatively peaceful country, and that contributes to resilience of businesses. The natural resources, as my brother Solomon was introducing me, he told you I chair the board of the Uganda National Oil Company. If I tell you what magnetic resonance that could be taken to underscore the natural resources that our countries have, unbelievable. For oil alone, so far 6.5 billion barrels of oil. That requires to be captured by all of us Ugandans and be resilient and be able to utilize this natural resource. That's not only about oil, it's a number of things, minerals, agriculture, gifted by nature. One of the few countries where anything that you put in the soil will come without much labor. The country is resilience that Winston Churchill had to stand up and say after his travels across Africa, and said, despite their insects, despite their diseases, despite the poverty levels in that country, it's a country where a small investment gives so much. It's a country where whatever you drop in the soil comes with a fruit. It ought to be the driving force of our possessions. It is the pearl of Africa. it is Uganda. That is the resilience that we talk about. But that's not the only thing that really helps this country to be resilient. Look at our younger population. Some people see it as a big problem. I see it as a big advantage. That whereas other countries have got populations that are dying away, ours are actually growing. The responsibility to be resilient and grow these populations, like my brother here, Wagwansibirwa, is doing through a project that is undertaking to nurture young people. We should nurture them and be resilient. Because of that, I believe that resilience of businesses and households is a choice. It's a choice that we've got to take. It's a choice that we know there are challenges. The last 1.5 years have been very bad years because of the pandemic, but we cannot sit down and relax and say, oh, until the president opens the country. No, we cannot afford to do that. Like Charles Darwin said, life is survival for the fittest. Enterprises that will survive will have to be resilient. They will have to survive to be the fittest to survive. And the insurance industry plays a very important role in this. There are a number of questions that we can ask, ladies and gentlemen. Can the insurance sector play a role in capital mobilization for startups and continuing businesses? Yes. Yes. I know the deepening of the insurance sector is not where I want to be. I think Gustav Patrick just mentioned the 1%. That is not what we should be aiming at. We should be more resilient and grow. But again, the good news is we are seeing growth. I sit on a board of one of the major insurance companies in this country, and I see the figures. 2020 showed significant growth despite the pandemic of the insurance sector. The first half of 2021 is also showing growth. But is it enough? We need to be more resilient. We need to be more resilient. We need to see that in every cloud there is a silver lining. That my senior brother here, Mr. Joseph Chiwanuka, will send here in Swab where you said so. Ngokola chi? I'm sorry, Solomon will explain what I mean. When times are bad, you've got to change. And that's the resilience that we're talking about. You've got to change with the times. You've got to change with the times. Pooling of funds with the commercial banks, that can be done. Insurance companies have got the power to pool resources. What is that integration between insurance and commercial banking or development banking that we can do and pull together funds for development? That can be done, ladies and gentlemen. Guarantees. Yesterday, I was in a meeting, we were discussing bonds and guarantees. Create utmost good faith. Insurance is based on probability theory. Actualism. Do it well. But I also call upon Ugandans to make sure that we've got that utmost good faith, that when I go to straightforward insurance company and I want a bond, I want a guarantee, I mean it. I don't mean to cheat, to defraud them. That is resilience of businesses. How can insurers manage risk to minimize failure? Do they have the appropriate products? We cannot afford to have the same products that John Ssebaana Kizito started in 1966. We cannot afford. The world is changing and we must change with it. We must get new products that fit today's world. Technology is affecting the world. How do you relate to the new insurance policies? How can you be resilient and be able to fit into the structures of the young people that we have today? We've got to change with the times, ladies and gentlemen. Are the products affordable for the small and medium farms? Yes. The way you treat Ombede and Sibirwa is not the way you treat Emmanuel. He's a son of a Katikiro. He's himself a Katikiro. Katongole came from Singo, nothing, is just struggling. The only common denominator is that we are friends and we eat on the same table. But we have got to really see that that stratification of insurance products can be afforded by all strata of business and of all strata of households. Can you get households to start thinking about insurance? They are products. The other day, we lost one of the greatest entrepreneurs of our time, the late Dr. BMK. And I was following because he was my friend. He used about $5 million to undergo treatment in 6 years. What was insurance doing? That resilience. It is up to you to reach out to these people and explain to them the various products. Because if we had pulled together and taken care of his life, I mean, the insurance would have gained, Uganda would have gained, the family of BMK would have gained, and we're all winners. And that's what we want to be, all winners. How do you protect against loss and damage and liability? Do you practice timely compensation to support continuity of business and minimum interruption? Should your clients start chasing you? Resilience of business means you should be responsive. You should be responsive to your clients. You should be responsive. Do you conduct fair and transparent loss investigation processes? Ladies and gentlemen, I know the ranking, as I said, of insurance companies in this country, but it's not after that Jubilee is #1 or this is #2. No. It's a service we are giving to humanity. It's a service we are giving to our country. It's a service that we want to see, business, that we've got to be resilient and pass it over and increase its intermediation. That is what you should be doing. Are you so resilient with the retirement packages? I'm soon retiring. It's only recently that I started thinking about retirement packages. Yet, insurance companies have got these products. Reach out. We do not want to send Emmanuel Katongole, who is okay and retires and is not able to pay his bills. This is unacceptable. And the responsibility to do so is yours, is mine, and is for all of us. And that is the resilience of businesses. How do insurers invest and partner with other investment entities? Got to be creative. Creative to think of packages other than buying government bonds and treasury bills. Think of products that these investable funds can be utilized to uplift. The Veronica I left in Singo many years ago. And that's what will make us proud. That is what will make us proud, ladies and gentlemen. But there are key survival issues for survival of enterprises. And my brother, Alhaji Kadunabi, mentioned regulatory and compliance is so critical. Let's not look at Kadunabi, Alhaji Kadunabi Rubega as a policeman. No, he's not a policeman. He's a partner. He's a partner because he wants to set free game, you know, in a football game. Let's say a boxing game. There will always be heavyweights. There will be lightweights. But you cannot put heavyweights and lightweights in the same ring. Julius Nyerere called that murder. Murder. And that's the work of the regulatory authorities. Set standards, set regulations, and resilience really comes up. Licensing requirements, quality control and standardization procedures. Those are very key issues for any insurance or business to be resilient. My brother, Rotarian Patrick, the chief guest, talked about taxation regimes. It is important that we pay taxes. Very important. But at the same time, it's important that we pay fair taxes. And these fair taxes should do good to humanity. And the responsibility to do so is not only Patrick or Chairaps alone. It's a big responsibility to him, as it is to Alhaji Kadunabi, as it is to me and to you, for all of us. Labor laws. How is unsustainable is accessing of financing, both banking and non-banking products, options. And unless we look at this resilience of businesses and households becomes a big challenge. The use of technology and big data. Today, we're talking about fiber optics. We're talking about data as a management of information. How can we utilize data to be able to do good in the world? And that's probably the biggest resource. And it's available at our fingertips. How can we utilize it? The entire skill set of the organization is in the form of a human capital. How versatile and ethical are they? Are you looking at this? In order to be resilient, what kind of people, the biggest resource of an organization. Are we looking at it seriously? How is the cost of doing business in the country? Power. We've got not only our regulators, but our associations. What are we doing to influence that there is parity in the way power utilization is done? We're building dams. We're not seeing power rates coming down. The responsibility to do so, Solomon, is yours. You're not going to wait for my sister, Honorable Nankabirwa, to fix it for you. Got to do it. Water, communication and technology, human resources. The number of things that I can talk about, ladies and gentlemen, for businesses to be resilient, for businesses to survive under difficult circumstances. But let me tell you that there must be an implementation plan. What are the next steps? The next steps is action. And one unknown author said, get out of your comfort zone. A comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. It's beautiful to be in a comfort zone, but nothing ever grows there. Let's leave our comfort zones. Let's leave our comfort zones, ladies and gentlemen. Be certain that you can succeed at anything that you'll do. And I've come to baptize them the 5 Ds of Emmanuel Katongole. Drive. Can you have drive? Can you have desire and say, this is what I'm going to do? I was born in a little grass-thatched house. Today, I live in a place that actually is equivalent to where Solomon lives. That is desire. You've got to have desire. You've got to have determination in whatever you do. You've got to have dedication. But above all, you have got to have discipline. Discipline is very critical in whatever we do. If we're going to have resilience in businesses, discipline is very important. That's why you see, and I refer to him many times, Mr. Joseph Kiwanuka, he's a father to all of us here. Not that he's capable of producing so many children. I don't think he has that power. But he's still resilient. He's still resilient because he's got drive, he's got desire, he's got determination, he's got dedication, and he's got discipline. Very critical. OPR is other people's resources. People. You cannot think that you'll do everything because Latimer is the chairman of the insurance something, and the CEO of MUA and says, okay, I'll do it alone. No. There must be other people's resources. Look for them. Look for talent, nature talent to have resilience. OPM, not Office of the Prime Minister, but other people's money. If you think that you're going to use your own money to have stuff, if you think that statewide will stay without using other people's money, no, you have got to use other people's money. But when you use other people's money, know that it is other people's money. It is not your money. You must return it with interest, with commitment, with one word that insurers love: utmost good faith. That has got to be done. Quality. Never mortgage your long term on short-term gains. Never. Look at a distance through a lens. That's how you achieve resilience and you are able to survive. Faithfulness. Starting a business is easy, but staying the course is very hard. Always pay your dues to debtors. Always be faithful to your suppliers. Always keep your word of honor. Always say that whatever I've said means that. That is where I got friendship with this gentleman seated here, Wagwan Sivirwa. When he tells you something, you know it is good. You know it is done. That's what we should be doing. Let's look at diversity. Let your money work for you by investing wisely. You may need to diversify a bit, but do concentric diversification. Concentric diversification where you try to handle stuff that is related to what you are doing. Proper financial bookkeeping, separating your money from other people's money. As I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, please know that you should never wait for conditions to be perfect, because they will never be. Always be a doer. Remember that ideas alone don't bring success. It's action, and use action to cure fear. Whenever you go into action, fear will go away. You'll be able to turn around whatever you're doing. Start your creative engine mechanically. Each organization, each business, each household has got kinetic energy. But you need to transform that potential energy into kinetic energy that gives resources to grow. And we must learn how to live in the present and plan for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, there are symbiotic relationships between investors in business, policymakers, customers, and the general public. That partnership is very critical. whether one is a regulator, whether one is a public servant, whether one is a private investor, it is so important that we all work together. That symbiotic relationship is so critical. This relationship should be harnessed in the realization that these are parties that benefit from continuing the existence of the enterprise, whether individually or collectively. There is this jinx that very few enterprises survive beyond 5 years. But I strongly oppose this mentality. Why? Why should it be 5 years? We should really learn from the late John Ssebaana Kizito. 1966, today is 2021. He's still surviving. And I was in his house the day he passed on, and His Excellency, the President of Uganda, came and was seated, friends like Kirumira, Kwagalana, and others were all there. And he said, you, even he pointed at me, he said, you. This man, Ssebaana Kizito, was such a humble man, but he had more money than all of you combined together. He said it, I was there, I believe you were there. He said it. But he did not go on pausing money, this money, because it wasn't money. It was about humanity. It's about what can we do to make the world a better place to live in. We should rally members to embrace change, as I said earlier. And this day and age, we cannot run away from good governance. That is very critical in order for businesses to be resilient. Of course, adapt technology and human capital. Friends, once we do all this, I can tell you, the world of insurance will be ours. This country will be insured and it will be secure. Once we do what we must do, once we say we are our brothers' keepers, once we say we are our sisters' keepers, once we commit to what we want to commit to do, the future of this country is great. The future of businesses is great. But above all, our children and the children of our children will say, yes, these men and women did not live for nothing. They built a country that we are so proud of. And those African birds will always sing for us and say, yes, that was their best time. Thank you, and God bless you all.
I can hear even our attendees, the virtual attendees also saying, wow. But ladies and gentlemen, that is Emmanuel Katongole. For those at the command base, let's give him another round of applause, which he can see. Now, anybody doubting the choice of a keynote speaker, I think should now apologize or repent, go to the Reverend Father and confess. We really do thank you very much for the inspiration and the testimony. And it's good that you have references that you have made. And there are several examples for all of us to see. I have always admired to be employed by distinguished people. But I am no longer employable, probably by reason of age. But I'll add on my CV that I have addressed Mr. Emmanuel Katongole. So probably those who see it for some other reasons will give me some consideration. And it's good to have testimonies to back what has been said. And ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have none other than OHT Robert Wagwa Nsibirwa, Deputy Katikkiro of Uganda Kingdom, and the Minister of Finance in the Kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, Oweekitiibwa Robert Waggwa-Nsibirwa is co-founder and group CEO of the Africa Coffee Academy, an international firm providing professional, technical, and business support to coffee value chains. He's a co-founder and executive director of Ashland Motors Africa Limited and a consultant with the World Bank in commodity risk management, especially in coffee and cotton since 1998 to date. You have heard the production of coffee in Uganda is rising. And I want to believe that definitely there is a hand of experienced people who have the desire, the determination, the dedication, and the discipline. He's currently serving as board chairman of Green Hill Holdings Limited, co-owners of Green Hill Academy Schools, Uganda Coffee Federation, Federation of Coffee Exporters, Central Coffee Farmers Association, World Class Team Limited, Central Coffee Farmers Association, and the Rotary Every Youth Working Initiative, Rotary Vijana Poa. He is serving as a board member to the following organizations: a council member at the University and a trustee of the CEO Summit, among others. He is a celebrated Rotarian, and in the Rotary circles, we actually refer to him as a Rotaract governor, because he rose from, not the lowest, he rose from the primary of Rotary, that is Rotaract. In other words, he's seasoned, having joined as a young man, and he rose to become district governor for District 9211, covering Uganda and Tanzania in 2015 and 2016. He's an adjunct faculty member of the Strathmore Business School of Strathmore University in Kenya, and is serving as a deputy catechumen and a minister for the finance, investment planning, and economic development in the Uganda Kingdom since 2013 to date. He has been involved in co-founding several value chain firms with offices in London, Kenya, Burundi, but headquartered in Uganda. He served as the executive director of the African Fine Coffees Association between 2004 and 2007. And this is a regional organization of specialty coffee producers, processors, and marketers from 11 countries in the East African region. He has worked a lot in the coffee industry of Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi, Ethiopia, Malawi, Zambia, and Zimbabwe, helping them to increase both the volume and value of the coffees traded from their countries. He also served as the chairman of the Global Coffee Platform 4C Association, based in Bonn, Germany from 2013 to 2016. In doing this, Oweekitiibwa Robert helped coffee enterprises in these countries to expand their coffee marketing and trade, build business links and relationships, enhance the product quality, and extend their skills and knowledge to be able to participate or respond to emerging market competition, technology, and industry challenges. Well, he has traveled the whole world. He's been to every continent of the world, doing nothing but promoting coffee and also advising the World Bank, USAID, DFD, SIDA, and he has supported FCA's work in promoting regional African coffees. He is a Rotarian, as we have said, who we hold in very high esteem. He led the Rotary District Group Study Exchange to Rotary District 5340 in San Diego, California, USA. He has attended all the international fora, which we call the Rotary International Conventions, 3 of them, and attended 9 district conferences. Those are for the region. And again, as we said, it's not by luck, coercion, or gamble that he has found himself there. But he's a graduate of statistics, and he holds a Master's of Economics in Economic Policy and Planning from Makerere University. He's a fellow emeritus of the Center for the Study of African Economics, Oxford University, United Kingdom. I need my glasses, and I don't have the right to pronounce the figures, but we are dealing with an adult, an honorable adult who is married, a father, a practicing Anglican. Now, before I invite him, we found it necessary to put the resilience topic into perspective by sharing the Buganda model, the Buganda business model, the several initiatives that he has led as the Minister of Finance and the areas they have tackled. And normally, and I'm glad that our keynote speaker dismissed the jinx, because we feel a lot of energy, we see a lot of determination, we see vision, and all this we attribute to Wechitiibwa Robert Wagwa Nsibirwa. It is a very honor, it's a very big honor, sir, that you accepted to come and share with us these experiences. And very humbling for me to stand here, sir, and say all these things in your presence. But let me ask those at the command center and those who are virtual to prepare to receive the wonderful presentation from Wechitiibwa Robert Wagwa Nsibirwa. Welcome.
I've been vaccinated twice. I'm a living survivor of COVID. My neighbor is looking the other way and he has a mask. And those facing me are at a safe distance. Because of my cubic capacity, I can't speak with the mask on, like my elder brother Katongole. I'm a Bedford, for him is a Mercedes. So I'll remove my mask. I was invited to share with this forum in 20 minutes the Buganda Kingdom model of resilience in doing business in the country and beyond, because we don't collect tax. But I'll follow the cue of my elder brother, Emmanuel, and say that I'll respect and recognize the protocol that has been well cited by our guest of honor, who is a Rotarian, like myself, and our keynote speaker, and Wechitiibwa also Kadunabi Lubega. I recognize all of you, and I thank you for the work you do to transform our communities. I've seen many Rotarians here today, online and in this room at the command center. And I want to begin sharing my 20 minutes with the famous. Many people, when they make it in life, like Mr. Manuel Katongole, is an exception, and some of the exceptions, they say, I'm a self-made man, or I'm a self-made woman. And yet, when we produce a good or a service that we sell, we have to sell it to the community. When he produces very mineral water, he sells to the community to earn money. When he produces drugs, he sells them to the community to earn money. So all of us, we have been made by the community. And the person we are honoring in this memorial lecture, the 4th year, Wechitiibwa Honorable John Ssebaana Kizito, who professed and walked the talk in honoring the community, where he got a lot of support to make sure his family and himself had a decent living. I also recognize him, and His Majesty the Kabaka recognized him with the highest honor of the kingdom of the Masters of Sword and Spear. And I want to repeat what he did for the kingdom, what he did for the people in Buganda and Uganda and the world, because that's well documented. So, what has been the kingdom model? I spent some time working on slides last evening, and they have been told my file is too big. It can't download. It has downloaded. Okay. Okay, good, great, finally. But I had plan B, you know, as the governor of Rotary, we always have plan B. I was going to speak from the heart because I did the presentation myself, but wait has opened. I'm here with my PA Maureen, who has been struggling to open this. Yeah. So what's the business model? What constitutes the Buganda Kingdom business model? And we have two things I want to bring out. The kingdom is a social, economic, business enterprise. So because it's such a model, a business model, we have three bottom lines. And I'll talk about them. We have three bottom lines, unlike maybe Swico, maybe other companies that have one bottom line of ensuring that the profit and losses are working well. But also underpinning the three bottom lines are the 5 business and engagement values and the philosophies of the kingdom. And I'll go through, so they will form my presentation, and I'll be a little faster. So the 3 bottom lines, we have our number 1 bottom line is the preservation, the promotion, and the development of our culture and heritage. His Majesty the Kabaka is the epicenter of everything we do, of our culture, and everything we do has to recognize our culture and heritage. Number 2 is the transformation, both socially and economically, of the livelihood of our people. And thirdly, the sustainable existence of the kingdom. The first 2 bottom lines, very, very important, and ahead of the third, can't go on and blossom without number 3. So those are the 3 bottom lines we look at and we work with. So under culture, promotion and development, there are things that are visual. We look at maintaining, restoring our cultural sites and heritages so that His Majesty and the royal family and everybody who is attached and would like to associate with the institution sees us in the right light as a cultural institution in modern times. Omulembe Mutebi. Where do I point? Here? Oh, here. Okay. I was pointing at Solomon. Okay. I'll get it finally. Okay. Maybe I'll do this. And so restoration of sites and the like, those are the physical things you may see about our culture and heritage. But the culture and heritage of the Kingdom of Uganda is also stored in our souls, in our hearts. We don't have a constitution that girls and boys before they are teens, they have to kneel before their parents to greet them. We don't have a written constitution that won't sleep with our second cousins. These are cultures and values that are passed on, and they have to be promoted in ceremonies, in events, like funeral rites, like Kwanjula and the like. But we have also the physical aspects that define and where we come and look at those things. So, but number 1, culture and heritage is a big thing. Number 2, transformation of the livelihoods of our people. We look at education, we look at health, we look at economic empowerment. of the youth, of the women. That's very key in our model. That's our second bottom line. And I'll just give a little detail because they told me to highlight milestones in this business model. But transformation of the lives of the people in Buganda, and allow me emphasize this, we are talking about people in Buganda, not Baganda. The activities we do in Buganda are not targeted at, we don't ask you to first say, Tambula Mungo Muganda. Mr. Solomon Rubondo Sembatia is not asked where he was born, if he comes to donate blood or to receive immunization for hepatitis B. No, we don't do that. Or if he wants to play in Masaza football. And so this is very, very critical for us because we are a nation, a people with one language and one culture. And that has allowed us to ensure that the people in the kingdom boundaries and beyond live a better life, live a life that's acceptable to all of us. And the last one, we have to pay for this. We have to pay for all this. So the kingdom is running 33 companies and organizations. Some are not for profit, like Bukadev, like Nabagereka Development Foundation, Kabaka Foundation. But we have those that do trade, and we do employ young people, men and women. We do earn money so that we can ensure we run programs of social and economic development. We are being resilient because we are not able to collect tax, and we are not able to do that. So just to look at the philosophies, how have we been able to look at those bottom lines? We have 5 philosophies. One, our culture and heritage is progressive and pragmatic. And I'll demonstrate that very shortly. We are using our culture and progress to ensure that our culture and heritage to ensure that there is economic and social transformation. So it's not just celebrating culture. It's not just about preserving culture. It's using it pragmatically and practically to ensure there is social and economic development. We are also using our very illustrative and tested local government structures from Omutongole, village level, through to parish, Muluka, sub-county, Gombolola, Saza County, until Mengo, to deliver service to the people of Uganda as one of our strategies. We have now chosen to look at long-term partnerships. When we partner with various industries, we don't do it for an event. We do it for 5 years so that we have impact and we have financial sustainability. So we no longer do sponsorships. We do partnerships so that our partners can extract equity and the people of Uganda can also extract equity. And both of us can see impact in the different directions, but also have financial sustainability. We are very, very innovative so that we can have high reach, but also inclusiveness. And I will end with that as I talk about insurance. We have come for the insurance sector and it will never be the same. And lastly, number 5, Owerufu, integrity. And integrity is not about stealing money. If I tell Mr. Katongole that I'll meet him at 8 a.m. and I come at 8:30 and I don't call him that I'm delayed and I just turn up and smile, I'm here, I don't have integrity. If I commit to Uganda breweries, we are going to work this and this and this for 5 years, and I don't do it, we rather have not taken money from them, I don't have integrity. So integrity is beyond stealing funds. So in our business model, integrity or werufu, transparency is key, very, very key. So milestones, and I'll just do 3 of them because of time, 3 of them. how have we used the culture and heritage to transform our communities? His Majesty the Kabaka of Uganda is the UN ambassador for AIDS in Africa. And his term was renewed by UN AIDS because he has done a wonderful job. We have seen the AIDS numbers go down, especially in Uganda, where it was very endemic. And when we celebrate His Majesty's birthday or coronation, we don't do it in vain. He has chosen with his leadership that we focus on a health issue with partners. So he has been the forefront of fighting with us men the scourge of AIDS. And we are winning slowly by slowly through the Kabaka birthday run, through engaging the men, the cultural leaders, and the like. He has worked on fistula, something people couldn't talk about at their home at the dining table. He brought the issue on the dining table. Women who had a fistula were treated for 3 years. From around the country, they traveled from Busoga, from Chigezi to Chitovu to have them corrected because it was a correctable issue. And you know about sickle cells. This awareness was great with the late Dr. Ibrahim Mwanga Chibirige and Uganda Kingdom and the Ministry of Health of Uganda. Now many people, before they get children or marry, they try to test to know whether they both could be having the sickle cells or that. Then, so we have used culture and heritage not only to celebrate and eat, but to transform the health of the people of Uganda and Uganda. Tourism is not about structures. It's about the experiences. It's about employment. And we see now, I think we have the best road in Kampala State Council, the Royal Mile. Yeah, I think it's one of the best roads we have in Kampala State Council. His Majesty received an award from the National Blood Bank for being the best Kabaka Foundation institution to collect that amount of blood in a day, in a year. Over 50,000 units of blood have been collected by Uganda Kingdom. We are now going to the countryside to collect blood. Even during the lockdown, it's only the Uganda Kingdom that has been collecting blood. It's on record. No institution, no arrangement has collected over 8,000 units in a day. We are gunning for 12,000 units in a day to break the record internationally. So we are using culture and heritage in a way that is resilient and positive. Bulungi Bwansi, the community development, it's a culture and heritage issue in Uganda. People come out to voluntarily clean their areas, to dredge the wells, the community resource for water, to help people in the community that are vulnerable. And we have, so far in the last 5 years, constructed almost 500 boreholes for cleaning water, especially in northern Uganda, where there is a cattle corridor, in a single county, where there is a distress for water. And we're using our culture and heritage to do that, positively to transform the lives of the people. And I could go on and on. The village, parish, sub-county, county model up to Mengo has allowed us to deliver through the chiefs and their committees. We have transformed, and I'll highlight, in the last 5 years, we have been able with partners to give out 10 million coffee seedlings. And when we are giving out these seedlings, the Mutongole has to visit every homestead. And the homestead must have a latrine and a tray, a katandalo, where they dry their plates and utensils. Because you have to be alive and healthy to look after Kabaka's coffee. You must have dug the holes the way you are allowed. So we have used structures to be effective. And in the last 5 years, coffee growing has gone up in Uganda by 35%. You can go to UCDA and look at the figures. The Mwanyi Terimba program has seen and has fought poverty and transformed communities. With coffee, matoke has come back in Uganda. And all this, we are using culture, structures of the kingdom to ensure that we transform our people. Masada Cup, the youth have been engaged through the structures. The most watched tournament on the face of Africa, Masada football tournament. We have circles. You have heard of CBS circles. They are now going in each Saza. Chad Dondo Circle, Busiro Circle, Budu Circle, and so on, Chagwe Circle. And every circle has so many associations, over 500 in Budu. And those associations, we have farmer groups. All those are supported by the structure to bring resilience and service delivery. And this has served us well, and we are using it to deliver service. And I'll show you how we are going to use it to deliver insurance. Of course, health and environment. We have a choto. A choto is a cultural issue. As young people, we used to sit around the bonfire and hear stories, be mentored, be coached. Now we are using that concept every year to have a choto on sub-counties where we talk about AIDS, where we talk about health issues, adolescent issues. And we had over 150 health camps, a Vyoto, last year, where each Gombola had a Vyoto. We gave out over 3 million condoms. Yes, we did. And we are trying to use the structures positively to transform our people. That's our model. I'll move on to the third one and last one as an example. The other model we are using is partnerships for impact and financial sustainability. We have international partners. Diageo is the biggest beer company in the world, represented by UBL here. We partnered with them to produce a lager called Ngule, and there was a dual purpose for that, to fight young men from drinking illicit liquor in polythene bags, because Ngule was 2,000 shillings before government put tax. It is produced from cassava. So we are working again with UBL to have our cassava farmers have an off-taker as we fight the consumption of the illicit liquor. We are transforming our communities through our structures, through our partnerships, through our heritage. And we got money. We get money from those partnerships that allow us to support the other bottom lines. UNAIDS, we are in our 5th year. Henan Goji, we have the high-end estates in Chigo, Mirembe Villas, where we shall have at the end 300 high-end villas and apartments. We are now in Sentema, where we're going to have the first phase 600 affordable housing. We are partnering, and the partnerships are bearing fruits. We partnered with one company called Vero Beverages, and we produce Orendo mineral water, the best water you can ever find. Airtel, K2 Telecom, Senare Bank, DFCU, and with all these partnerships, we have been able to ensure that we support these enterprises in the country, but also support our people in the countryside to get a decent living. And there are so many other milestones we have had. But because of time, let me try now to relate. These are more partners. They can be seen on and other milestones can be seen. I'll request that we move to the conclusions, the last slide on insurance, that one. We are now in the space of insurance sector, not only as off-takers, but now as partners and players through Welin Insurance Services. We started testing these waters with 1 feet at the brokerage farm. And I thank